Can we all just collectively pretend that I got this video up at the end of December? Hello, my name is Aubrey. I'm so glad you're here because today I'm here to talk about my most anticipated releases of 2024, part 1. Originally, I was going to split this series of videos into 2 parts. I was going to do a part 1 of January through June and then a part 2 for July through December. But this year is stacked, you guys. Like, I don't know what it is. There are so many good books coming out this year that I'm so excited about, and I couldn't contain it all in even 2 videos. So I have currently split the first half of the year because oh my gosh, there are so many books coming out, especially in February. I feel like all of the publishing houses got together and they were like, guys, we're gonna jumpstart the economy in February. I got all of these release dates on Goodreads, so if they're wrong, I apologize. You can blame Goodreads. I will also have all of these books linked down below if you want to check them out for yourself. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So my first book is Dark Star Burning Ash Falls White by Emily Wen Zhao, and this comes out on January 2nd. This is the second book in the Song of the Last Kingdom series, the first book being Song of Silver Flame Like Night that came out last year. This fantasy duology takes place in ancient China and is heavily inspired by mythology and folklore. And in that first book, we're following our main character, Lan, who has a mysterious mark on her arm left there by her mother right before she died. No one else can see this mark but her, that is, until a boy appears at her tea house and saves her life. I have heard really good things about the first book. I've really been looking forward to reading it, and now that the final book in this duology is out, hopefully I'll be able to get to it soon. Next up, I have Mislaid in Parts Half Known by Shauna Maguire. This is the 9th installment of the Wayward Children series. This directly follows the events of the last book, where we're following Ancy, the newest student at Eleanor West's School for Wayward Children. Ancy is particularly good at finding lost things, and it sounds like she's able to find a portal that leads to a world full of dinosaurs. This feels unexpected for the series, but also really intriguing, so I'm excited to check this installment out. This is one of my favorite series. I'm sure I'm going to enjoy this one. I really liked Ancy in the last book, so I'm looking forward to spending some more time with her. Next up, I have The Atlas Complex by Olivia Blake. This also comes out on January 9th. This is the concluding novel to the Atlas series about a group of unlikable magical students trying to compete to earn a spot among the Alexandrian Society, a prestigious secret society that promises wealth and power. Only 6 are to be considered for initiation, and only 5 will make it in. I have heard such mixed things about this series. Some people love it, some people hate it. I'm definitely still interested in checking this series out. For those of you who are new here, I am a wait and binge type of reader. So I've been patiently waiting for this series to be finished, and so with this concluding book, I'm hoping to get to these books soon. But yeah, definitely a very divisive series. I'm curious, I'm scared. I guess we'll see. Next up, I have Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands by Heather Fawcett, and this comes out January 16th. This is, of course, the sequel to Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, which I think was just an absolute booktube darling last year. In that first book, we're following Cambridge professor Emily Wilde, who is the foremost expert on the study of fairies. I believe she travels to a small village, and there she meets Wendell Bamblebee, who frustrates and confounds her, but worst of all, gets in the middle of her research. This is supposed to be a charming, cozy fantasy romance. It sounds perfect for me. I have really been looking forward to reading it. I thought it was just gonna be a duology, but apparently this is not the last book. I don't know how many books are planned to be in this series, but this is one that I'm tempted to pick up early. Next, I have Voyage of the Damned by Frances White, and this comes out on January 18th. This is a fantasy murder mystery. It takes place on a 12-day voyage with the heirs of the 12 provinces of Concordia. When a beloved heir is murdered, our main character must unmask the killer before the empire as he knows it falls. Early reviews of this have been glowing, so I'm really excited about that. I truly just love a good murder mystery, so I'm excited to read one with a fantasy twist. Next, I have Feybound by Saara El Arifi, and this comes out January 23rd. I feel like this one's getting a lot of early hype. So in this, we're following 2 elven sisters who are exiled from the elven lands, and they are forced out into the wilderness. There, they discover the long-forgotten Fey court. The sisters are thrust into the seductive world of Fey, torn between their loyalty to each other, their elven homelands, and their hearts. My interest is definitely really piqued with this one. A lot of the early reviews that I've seen have been really good. This author's previous works have really high ratings, so I don't know. I feel like this one's going to be a really big hit this year. Next, I have The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett, and this comes out on February 6th. We're following our main character, Ana de Labra, the Empire's greatest detective. She's been called to investigate a mysterious death. A high Imperial officer was killed when a tree spontaneously erupted from his body. With the help of her new assistant Den, an engraver with a perfect memory, she must uncover the truth for the safety of the Empire itself. Ana has a few quirks, however. She insists on wearing a blindfold at all times, and she refuses to step outside the walls of her home. Featuring an unforgettable Holmes and Watson-style pairing, a gloriously labyrinthine plot, and a haunting and wholly original fantasy world, The Tainted Cup brilliantly reinvents the classic mystery tale. This honestly sounds so good. I've been dying to read some Robert Jackson Bennett, so I'm really excited for this one. Next I have Bride by Ali Hazelwood, and this one comes out on February 6th. Ali Hazelwood is a pretty famous contemporary romance writer. I was surprised to see this coming out, but I'm slapping it on the list because it sounds like a lot of fun. It's a marriage of convenience between a powerful vampire and an alpha werewolf. The synopsis is a little vague on what it's actually about, but I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye on this one. I really enjoyed The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy by Megan Bannon last year, which was another fantasy contemporary leaning romance, and I've been on the lookout for more books like that, so hopefully this might scratch that itch. Next up I have The Trials of Empire by Richard Swan, and this comes out on February 8th. This is the third book in the Empire of the Wolf trilogy, the first book being The Justice of Kings, and in that book we're following Sir Conrad von Volt, the most feared justice in the Empire of the Wolf. And alongside his protege Helena Sindaka, the two of them investigate the murder of a provincial aristocrat. They unearth a conspiracy that travels to the very top of imperial society. As the stakes grow higher, he must make a choice. Will he abandon the laws he's sworn to uphold in order to protect the empire? And I think the interesting twist in this trilogy is that the point of view is actually told entirely from Helena's perspective, so from the protege's perspective. I've heard absolutely fantastic things about this series. I've been absolutely dying to read it, so I hope to get to it this year now that the third book is coming out. Next, I have The Warm Hands of Ghosts by Catherine Arden, and this comes out on February 13th. This is a historical fantasy that I believe takes place in World War I. Our main character Laura is a combat nurse who is wounded and discharged. Once home, she receives word that her brother Freddie has died in combat, but something about his death doesn't make sense, so she returns to Belgium to investigate. Meanwhile, a year earlier, Freddie finds himself trapped with a wounded enemy soldier. The two must form an alliance to escape. They take refuge with a mysterious man who can seemingly make the trenches disappear. As shells rain down and ghosts move among those yet living, Laura and Freddie's deepest traumas are reawakened. Now they must decide whether their world is worth salvaging or better left behind entirely. This just sounds really bizarre and atmospheric. I'm looking forward to picking it up. Next, I have An Education in Malice by S.T. Gibson, and this is coming out on February 15th. All I know about this is another vampiric tale from S.T. Gibson, and in this one we're following Camilla. Honestly, say less. I don't need anything else. I think this takes place at a college. It has a female-female romance. I'm all in no matter what. I loved A Dowry of Blood. This is a pre-order for sure. Next, I have Sunbringer by Hannah Kanner, and this is coming out on February 15th. This is the sequel to God Killer, which came out last year. And in that first book, we are following a God Killer who finds a god that she cannot kill. The god of white lies has bound himself to a young noble, and they are both on the run from assassins. They seek the last of the wild gods to each beg a favor. Pursued by demons and in the midst of civil war, they will all face a reckoning. Something is rotting in the heart of their world, and only they can be the ones to stop it. I heard super good things about God Killer last year. I don't think this is the end of the series, so I probably won't be picking this one up this year, but I do have my eye on the series for sure, and I look forward to reading it one day. Next, I have The Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Faisal, and this comes out on February 20th. This is from the same author who wrote the We Hunt the Flame duology. This is a fantasy heist novel in which we're following Arthi Casimir, a criminal mastermind and collector of secrets. She runs a prestigious tea room by day that transforms into an illegal bloodhouse by night, catering to vampires. When her establishment is threatened, she calls upon a band of misfits to infiltrate vampire society. Dark, action-packed, and swoon-worthy, this is Hafsa Faisal better than ever. I am super intrigued by this one. I love vampires, and I am so excited by how many vampire books we're getting in 2024. But yeah, this one in particular sounds really, really good. Okay, and last on my list, I have The Emperor and the Endless Palace by Justinian Huang, and this comes out on March 26th. This is a debut novel about a love story between two men through 3 different reincarnations. So in the year 4 BCE, an ambitious courtier is called upon to seduce a young emperor. In 1740, a lonely innkeeper agrees to help a mysterious visitor procure a rare medicine. And in present-day Los Angeles, a college student meets a beautiful stranger and cannot shake the feeling that they've met before. This is the part that got me though. As their many lives intertwine, they begin to realize the power of their undying love, a power that transcends time itself, but one that might consume them both. An unpredictable roller coaster of a debut novel, The Emperor and the Endless Palace is a genre-bending romantic thriller that changes everything we think we know about true love. A genre-bending romantic thriller? I mean, doesn't that just sound so good? The early reviews that I've seen on Goodreads were pretty high. I'm just really excited about this one. So that is it for my most anticipated upcoming releases. Stay tuned for part 2. Subscribe if you don't want to miss it. Please let me know what your most anticipated book is this year. I would love to know. There are just so many good ones, right? Like this is gonna be a good year. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please like this video if you liked it and subscribe if you want to see more from me. I hope to see you next time. Bye!